Hello, everyone. My name is Veronica Rose. I'm an author and I'm an information systems auditor. I have something special for you today. As we discussed earlier, I told you I'll be bringing you IT professionals, IT audit assurance professionals, cybersecurity experts, and many more. So today we have a special guest with us, and her name is Claire. She will introduce herself right away. Claire?
Thank you so much, Veronica, for inviting me to this special occasion. And it's a pleasure to have me here. So a brief introduction, I'm Clare Situma. I currently work, just to proceed and go to the actual auditing. Once you've agreed on the scope and the contact person, and they've actually told you the system that they're running on, they're usually standard things that we check on a system. We have the system controls that have been input in place, and under these we check for things like the user matrix. You check the users that are in the system, are they still valid? Some of them have they left the organization? Have their accounts been deactivated? Then you also come and check certain things like the password policy. How have they implemented it? Have they adhered to what is documented in the ICT policy? And then you also check things like the account lockout to ensure that this is actually implemented around the system. And but before we even get to that, we also have the contracts and the policies in place. So you also need to go through the contracts and review the contracts with their vendors, check for the support that is documented there, and ensure that the timeline that they've given to resolve the issues that have been raised is actually what is implemented on the ground. So if they have the priority issues indicated to be resolved within 3 hours, then that you need to follow and ensure that the issues that they've raised through the ticketing system, they've actually been resolved within the actual time. And then we always have two types of systems. We have the ERPs and we have the legacy systems. So for the ERPs, you just need to stick to the contracts that they have with the vendor. But for the legacy systems, you need to actually look for something that we call the escrow agreement. The escrow agreement is actually very critical for the client, because in case the vendor is not there, it actually offers another third party who will keep track and keep records of their source codes, so that there's a continuity for their systems and their solution. Yeah. And aside from the escrow agreement, you can also check for the user manuals. This will actually guide you through to help you understand deeply about the systems, what modules have been implemented, what are some of the critical controls that have been put in place, some things like the input controls within the systems, what are some of the input controls that they have within the systems, and how have they been implemented. So you actually read through what they have documented, but you also go to a step further of confirming that what they have documented is what is actually happening on the ground. Yeah. And then there's something I forgot to mention under still user matrix. We also check for remote access, whereby we have remote access allowed, users allowed to remote access to the system. So sometimes these people might be vendors who are actually supporting their databases. So you just have to critically check and ensure that the rights that they've been given is actually what they need. So they're not supposed to be able to edit certain stuffs in the system, but they can just access the database and maybe ensure backup is done and ensure access is done, but they're not able to edit things within the database. Yeah. And then finally, we also have the business continuity. which is actually very important. It's another very wide topic, but I'll just narrow down to what needs to be checked for. So you find that they need to have like a disaster recovery site, which is fully running, and it has the systems and everything implemented as they've done it in the actual site. So this needs to be constantly tested, just to ensure that whatever they have backed up in the recovery site is actually, it can be recovered and it can be used to run in case there's an emergency or something has happened. Yeah, so this is very critical, and the testing of this needs to be done on, let's say, a quarterly basis by the IT manager, but the sign-offs need to be done by the actual users, the owners of the data. Yeah, so business continuity and the disaster recovery site is one very important area for ensuring continuity for the systems. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Claire, for sharing with us all that knowledge. I know this would take a whole day, but you've really summarized, summarized it in just a few words. So I hope our audience have learned something from you. And thank you so much for your time and accepting to share with us as well. We hope to host you in the near future if time allows and if your time also allows. So thank you so much. Would you love to share with us any closing remarks or anything?
It's an interesting area to, it's an interesting time to be alive, because I just want to appreciate all the women in technology, especially like Veronica. You're really doing a good job. And I just want to appreciate you plus all the other women in technology, and just to urge us to continue forging forward and doing the perfect job in what we are destined to do. So technology is the in thing right now, but we actually motion more women to join in, and we need to work smarter and work better than what the men are doing. So I just want to applaud all the women in technology.
I agree with you. Thank you so much.